What's so special about Hero Bread's soft, fluffy, and delicious breads, buns, and tortillas? Hero Bread serves up 0 to 1 grams of net carbs, 5 to 11 grams of protein, and high fiber in every delicious serving. Made with natural ingredients, Hero Bread supports gut health, promotes weight management, and helps maintain blood sugar. Hero also drops other limited edition ultra-low net carb goodies like rich flaky croissants and buttery brioche slider rolls. Head to hero.co to shop today.
Everybody. So tonight I've got a special guest, Bo Kennedy from the Bump Podcast. Ironically enough, the dude was just on Tinfoil Hat, and I'm telling you guys right now, you have to go check it out. He knocked it out of the park. Like it was a fantastic show. It was a change of pace from what Sam generally does. And it was cool, Bo, because you're talking to Sam, and there were like, it was cool to hear Sam go, what? Like, no shit. Like, you kind of rocked his brain a little bit, and made him think. And that was really cool to hear.
I appreciate that, Kyle. And yeah, it was like I said on the show, that was my Super Bowl moment.
Yeah, for sure, dude, for sure.
Because Tinfoil Hat, that's
big time.
Yeah, that's big leagues, man.
I feel the exact same way. Hell yeah. And that is awesome.
There's been a lot of love come at me so far. So
awesome. That's great to hear, man. It's cool to hear fellow, what I will call the underdogs, the small fish in the big pond. Yeah. It's cool to see progression, seeing, because like we were talking earlier, I've noticed you a lot around my Instagram, and I try my best to get at everybody who gets at me. And anybody that puts on for me and Steve, we try to reciprocate, because it's important that we all build a community together and help each other in our research. Like if you ever needed help, dude, do not hesitate to get at me or Steve. Yeah. We are always willing to help. And it's just, I feel like it's important that we do this with each other. And like I said, it's crazy exciting to see like little Bo over here. And then all of a sudden you're like, yo, I'm going on Tinfoil. And I'm like, dude, that's awesome. That's so exciting. It makes me smile. Like, I'm excited for you. I really am. Like, it's so good.
Thank you. Thank you. And it feels good to see somebody genuinely happy for somebody else.
Yeah, dude. And I'm telling you right now,
I share that.
Yeah, it feels good.
I love to see people succeed. I just want somebody else to come up.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Like it gives me goosebumps. I'm excited for you. Like it's awesome, man. I ironically enough, I never used to be this way when I was younger. I used to be the guy that would get jealous and be like, why is that not happening to me? But now as I get older, I'm like, dude, good for you. Like that's freaking awesome. It's so exciting, and it's going to do wonders for you. I guarantee it. But, how did you get started in podcasting? Like, what made you want to start doing this?
Yeah. That's a good question, man. I've listened to podcasts for probably, 4 years or so, maybe 4.5 years. I started off with Sasquatch Chronicles with Wes Garmer. I don't know if you listen to that show or not, but he's an awesome host. And then when Tony come along, Wes helped Tony get where he was at, and they were doing good together. And I was trying to get on their show because I've had some weird stuff happen in my life. And I was trying to get on the confessionals with Tony. And I was waiting for like, I don't know, 6 or 8 months on
Right.
his waiting list, waiting for a callback because he's super busy, super popular,
Oh yeah.
And COVID hit, shut us down here in West Virginia. It was March of last year. And when COVID hit, I got sent home because I teach. So I'm working from home. I have all this extra downtime. I'm not one to, I don't like to sit in the house.
Yeah.
So I started going stir crazy. And I just thought, I'll try a podcast, instead of waiting on Tony, I'll get out there and I'll share my story and bring people on to share theirs. And, one thing led to another. People volunteered that I knew initially. It was people that I know that were coming on the show the first few weeks, to give me some
For sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
And it just kind of snowballed, man. And then I wound up on Wes's show. I did on Sasquatch Chronicles. And then last year I got on to Tony's show finally. He got me on there and it worked out, man. It was a good time.
That's awesome, dude. That is awesome. That's super awesome. Like I was telling you before, me and Steve had always talked about this stuff in our personal lives, and me and him can carry a really good conversation. And my wife, she's told me before, she's like, you guys could just talk about anything and I would just be captivated to listen. And so like one day what got me into podcasting was, of course, what I have considered the godfather of podcasting, Joe Rogan. And I just fell in love with it, man. And just listening to people share ideas and go back and forth and talk about struggles or talk about everything. And then I'm like, I wonder if there's weird podcasts out there. So I started looking for weird podcasts. And sure enough, like you, I stumbled on the confessionals and all these other ones. And I'm like, so it just hit me one day. I'm like, Steve, what you think we could start a podcast? And he's like, I don't care. We can try it. And then that's pretty much how it started for us. Just one of them, same with you, just kind of like a whim, like, you know what, let's just give it a go. Let's just see what we can do. What's the worst that can happen? You waste a couple $100 on equipment. I spent a couple $100 in a lot of worse ways. Right.
Yeah.
So, what, let's just try to do something we enjoy. And now look at it, man. Like, I'm sure you have it too, where people reach out and they're like, yo, I love your stuff. Like, it makes you feel good. And then you have people that I'm sure you've ran across to where you can help them. They're looking for help. Like, yo, Bo, I've got this going on, man. Can you help me? And it feels good to be able to try to guide people in them ways, So it's just, I don't know. It's cool, man. This podcasting thing is awesome. And it makes me feel like I've got a chance at doing something on my own.
Yep.
Yes.
You got control over something. There's something that you are your own man. You can take it whatever direction you want. It's your baby to rock,
That's right.
And I think that's great. It is a good feeling. And I love what you guys do with your show. I
appreciate that.
You all you have your own thing, man, with the hollow phone and stuff like that. And you throw your post office box out there so people can send you weird shit. I might steal that.
Go for it, bro. Go for it.
When I send an address out, it's like my home address. And I'm like, we talked to some people that are on the fringe. I don't want everybody having my home address.
Right.
Man.
See, it's funny you say that because there's been 2 people so far who have been like, yo, I got you something, but it's too big to send to the post office. And the first time I'm like, oh man, like, should I do this? And then I'm like, you know what? With everything that I look into and research, like, why not? So I just sent them my home address and they sent me the stuff. Like, there has been no malicious intent. So
yeah.
So so far. Yeah. But in all reality, how hard are we to find? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
All of our information is on the internet somewhere.
Yeah. That's our goal, is to be seen, right?
There you go. And then
easy to find. So
yeah, we had a guy, which I don't know if you heard or not, but we discovered that the number that had been harassing me that we thought was tied to Egress was actually somebody I knew fucking with me.
What?
And bro, I'm not, and I don't know him. He's through some friends who thought it would be funny to fuck with me. Dude, we traced his number to a police station.
Really?
He's a cop, and he was messing with us on police time. Now, I'm not a baby. I didn't go crying and trying to ruin the man's life. But I'm like, I know who you are. Stop messing with me. That type of shit. So you have to watch out. You have to try to sift for, and we've been disappointed by things, as I'm sure you will and have.
Oh yeah.
A couple of them have rocked us where we're just like, oh, we're heartbroken, but the show must go on, And now I'm stumbling on. I told you a little bit about me looking into Chris Bledsoe. I have stumbled on to another person on Instagram that I'm really looking into because it is some really messed up stuff if we can figure it out. But what's some of the weirdest stuff you've been through or talked to people about? Has there been anything you've done that has put you in a worrisome position? Kind of like with me and Egress. I was terrified at first.
Yeah. Yes, but in a different way. Mine is like on spiritual levels.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, man. Because my whole show revolves around the paranormal and the unexplained and stuff like that. And I touched on it when I was talking to Sam last night. Sorry.
No, you're fine.
But there's been certain episodes I've had where my guest is talking about like demonic forces or some kind of hardcore negative energies. And I'll pick those things up in EVPs on those episodes.
That's crazy.
And, that alone kind of gives you the creeps, because you can hear something behind you. You hear something mocking what you're saying. And it's like, okay, this is real, and I believe it, but I got a little confirmation.
Yeah, that gives me goosebumps. Yeah, like when you describe like it mocking you, like that's terrifying.
Yeah, because like I know what reverb sounds like on a mic or whatever, but we had for instance, I had a conversation with this lady and she couldn't hear me. And there was no problem before that. And she said, "Are you there?" I said, "Yeah, I'm right here." Well, after I said, "Yeah, I'm right here," there was a voice that come through that said mostly the same thing I said, but way deeper and way slower.
Whoa.
And it wasn't the exact verbiage. So I know it wasn't me just echoing back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then you start seeing shadows in your house. My kitchen cabinet slamming. You hear something going up and down the steps to the point where I had to go through. I was looking up ways to bless a home. Like I'm some kind of priest or something, I'm lighting sage, going through saying prayers.
Yeah.
And you can literally feel, it sounds weird, man, but you can feel being watched and you can feel when this stuff lifts off,
100%.
I've gotten too deep before.
I haven't had like that crazy of a spiritual side, but believe it or not, when we were messing with Egress, I felt like I was connected to something. Yeah. And I would tell Steve, like, I'm like, dude, I know it sounds crazy. Like, I feel like I'm crazy when I tell you this, but I feel like I am connected to something right now. And after Tony's show, when they basically left us on red, I could slowly feel that leaving me. And I don't know, in a way, it kind of broke my heart where I'm like, no, I don't want this to end. No. Right. Like we're on to something here. But, I understand what you mean by that feeling of like, you feel it leaving or you feel its presence. And in the spiritual realm, dude, that terrifies me as far as the demonic side of things. Yeah, I've even gone, because we're looking at going to like this fucking terrifying cemetery and other places. And I have been trying to reach out to witches, anybody that can teach me protection, whether it's spells or sigils, because I know it sounds funny, but I mean, I have tattoos. So right. I was like, dude, I'll get sigil tattoos on me of protection. I will. Right. It sounds cheesy, but I would 100% do it if it was going to protect me. Yeah. Because that realm is just, I don't know what it is about it. It's just, there's something to it that just terrifies me.
Well, I'll tell you, I've asked several people that get into ghost hunting or paranormal research. Some of them are Christians, some of them are witches, self-proclaimed, pagan or some kind of natural, like a hedge witch. And I've asked them all, what do you do for protection? And they all will tell you it's whatever works for you. It's a personal thing. Some of them do their own routine. But what I've learned from all of it, no matter who I talk to, is if you're faced with something like that, some kind of dark force or dark energy, something that makes you scared, even if you are an atheist, if you use the name Jesus Christ, they scatter, because you don't have to believe in him. They do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So if it's a demonic force, that name itself has the power to take anything away.
And it's weird.
That's worked for everybody.
Yeah. And kind of what you were saying, which is totally crazy, because our interview here is kind of on a whim. And like I told you, I've been kind of asking around for help with these things. And I've basically gotten the same advice, is that like you can create your own sigil. It's about the intent that you put into it. It's about what 100%. You want. You know what I mean? And I'm like, so you mean to tell me I could draw whatever I want, but as long as my intent is pure and it's of protection, and I'm convinced it's going to protect me, it will protect me. Like, what does that say in the grand scale of things? Right. You know what I mean? Like, like it's hard to explain, but like our consciousness, and just whether it's our energy or our soul or whatever you want to call it, like that's all at that point, it's all got to be connected. You know what I mean? Like where our will,
we are so powerful, man.
Yes. And I like, the more you look into this, the more you believe that, where you're like, you know what? There is something special. There is something special about each and every one of us. It's just that we have to discover it. You know?
Yep. And we got to believe it. You have to believe it. You got to have faith.
Yep.
And we're superheroes out there, man. We're rock stars.
That's what I think,
don't
dude.
believe that.
That's what I think.
Believe it. Just don't do it.
Well, and we've been brainwashed to be that way. You know, we've been brainwashed to be drones. And I mean, I'm sure you feel it, man. Just that everyday grind just wears you down. You know what I mean? Just puts such a damper on your life.
Yep.
And I tell my wife all the time, I was like, we are not supposed to be living this way. We're not.
I tell my wife the same stuff, man. Just last night, I was like, why are we living like this? You know?
Yeah.
Why don't we just have our little chunk of land and just do our own thing, work to feed the family, and just be happy people?
Yep, that's all I want.
We grind to pay bills so we can afford to keep up a lifestyle that
we
none
don't
of us
necessarily.
should be living.
I agree. It's crazy, man. But it's cool talking to people like you who have that positive mindset, because we need more of that right now. We really do. We need more positive people out there.
We do, man.
To help lift each other up, because we all have days where it's just, we fall to our knees, and we all need somebody to pick us back up. It's just that simple.
And on that note, that's what your email or your message on Instagram did for me this morning. Because I thought when I went to bed last night, I thought, man, I screwed the pooch on that. That was my one shot. And, there's a couple of times I said something and they just completely got quiet, or they changed the subject. And I thought, man, I bombed it. I'm not even going to get it. They're not even going to do that episode. You know what I mean? I thought they were just going to scrap it.
I loved it.
You made me feel so better, man. You gave me a little bit of hope,
Awesome. Good. I'm glad I did that for you. Like I said, it's what we're supposed to do. And I'm not lying. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. Like, I thought it was awesome, dude. I had a lot of fun listening to it,
Thank you.
And it helps that A, I'm a podcaster, and B, like what you were saying was parallel in my research. And at this point in my life, dude, I don't believe in coincidences.
No,
I don't.
I don't either.
And like I was telling my buddy at work, I was like, how crazy is it that I've been pushing this story that I'm doing off for over a year? And now all of a sudden I'm looking into it, and here, Bo from Bump Podcast, I've talked to him here and there, but I really don't know the guy, right? And then I hear you on Tripoli and you're saying the same shit I'm finding. It's not coincidence. It's not.
Right.
It can't be.
It's not, man. And that might be why I got delayed on Tripoli. And
right.
I might have got that lucky break just so you could hear it, you know, just for each other, you know,
100%.
so we can have this conversation today.
Dude. And that gives me goosebumps. I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, everything happens for a reason. Like, I know it sounds cliche. I know it sounds cheesy, but dude, I'm telling you, the more you look into this stuff, karma's real. Consciousness is real. And like you hear, like, you know, a lot of my research, love is the most powerful force in the universe.
Absolutely.
And B, karma is real. What goes around comes around. So if you're a giant piece of shit, expect to be treated that way. It's gonna come back. You know what I mean?
It's gonna come. Yeah.
You know, and good people take care of each other. Like, like I've always told Steve, I'm like, anybody that puts on for me, I'm putting on for them. It's that simple. I'm a little to a fault. It's who I am. It might be my downfall one day, but guess what? I'll die knowing I was true to myself, you know? So I don't know, man. Have you seen, changing gears a little bit, have you seen any cryptids in real life?
The closest thing I've had happen with cryptids is I had what I guess the BFRO refers to as a type B or a class B possible Bigfoot encounter.
Uh-huh.
I was squirrel hunting about 3.5 years ago, and long story short, I'll condense that because I spread this out through like half of an episode one day. I was in a wildlife management area. I live in southern West Virginia, so we have a pretty certain demographic that lives here. You know, it's just usually just a bunch of 98% white people right here. Okay. I'm out there in the middle of the woods in the rain, and I hear this chatter behind me on a hillside. There's no path, just on a hillside that sounded like, and I'm not trying to be stereotypical or anything, but it sounded like an Asian lady laughing.
Oh, that's weird.
Okay, it had that same tone. You know, I spent a lot of time overseas.
Okay.
That's what it sounded like, you know. So it caught my attention, and I looked up, didn't see anything. Rain stops. I shoot my squirrel that popped out. I go get it and come back and sit down. And after I'm sitting there, I hear this thump. And when I hear this thump, I hear it accompanied with this noise that sounded like a huff, kind of like if you fall and hit your butt, you know what I mean? Like knocks the breath out of you.
Yeah.
It's like something falling basically and landing on their butt. So I turn around and look. There's a branch helicoptering off the side of a tree coming down towards me. And it's coming horizontally spinning. You know, it's not end over end. It's coming sideways.
Oh, wow.
So with the chatter, the noise, this whatever it was being obviously thrown instead of just falling, you know,
right?
Branches don't fall in a helicopter kind of spin.
Exactly.
And with momentum, you know, coming down a hill.
Right.
So people I spoke with, they said, you know, that could have been a Bigfoot. You know, they had me come on Finding Bigfoot on Discovery Plus. Yeah, I actually went on there on the show and talked about it with them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was awesome. But yeah, that's the closest thing I've had to an actual cryptid encounter. But you know, I believe it could have been anything. It could have been a spirit. It could have been a Bigfoot, but you just don't know. You know, I believe in a really supernatural world. You know, I'm out there. So,
dude, you're not. I mean, you're preaching to the choir here. Like somebody could be like, Kyle, Bigfoot is a primate, and I'm gonna go, okay. Kyle, Bigfoot's interdimensional. I'm gonna go, okay. Like, I personally don't know. I'm open to any explanation out there. Sure, there are narratives I don't necessarily like, but just because I don't like them doesn't mean that they're not real. You know what I mean? Because for example, I'm in the camp of I don't like it, and this is me personally. I don't like it when people say aliens are demons. Aliens are angels. I don't like that explanation. Now, if you wanted to describe it kind of like I did to you earlier, or that is it possible that some of them could be demons? And then, okay, yes, I like that. Because I still, as crazy as it sounds, I still want to believe that there is life on other planets that are visiting us. That's the narrative I like.
All right.
Whether it's true or not, I don't know. That's just the one I like. You know what I mean? We're all kind of partial to certain ideas, and it's cool that nobody really knocks me down for it, but that's just kind of how I want there to be separate things. Right. For some reason, I want it. Could every one of it be interdimensional? Sure, absolutely. That still doesn't mean that Bigfoot is the exact same thing as a gray alien.
Right.
It's almost at that point, it would be like different animals on our planet. They're different, but they're from the same general area, so to speak.
Right.
That's just me.
I'm with you though, man, because I was hardcore aliens are from another planet until just a couple months ago.
Right.
My whole worldview started getting flipped on its head where I don't know what to believe, because the further I go with this stuff, the less I know.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I thought I had Bigfoot figured out until I had about 40 people tell me, 40 different stories about Bigfoot. And my pet peeve, like you shared that with me, the interdimensional thing.
Mm-hmm.
I use it all the time. I say it all the time too.
Dude, that's Steve.
I'm afraid that I'm going to say everything's interdimensional as a blanket statement when I don't even know what the hell interdimensional means. You know what I mean?
Right.
I can say another dimension, but I can't explain that.
No. No.
I'm not smart enough. I know what I mean, but I don't know how to explain it.
No, I feel you. I feel you 100%, because there are things that, like Steve is the brains, man. He's really, really smart. He'll start getting into like string theory and shit, because did Steve do string theory in college? No. He's the dude that just sits down and he's like, I'm just going to start looking into string theory. It's interesting to me. And I'm like, you're insane. And when he gets to talking about that stuff, I don't know about you, but I can literally feel the roadblock in my brain where I get to a point and my brain goes, nope, you can't go any farther, Kyle. It's done. You're done.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. Like I know what I mean. I know what I think. It is hard to express it at times, especially on the spot like we are right now. Sometimes
it is.
Sometimes you could end the interview and then 5 minutes afterwards, you're like, oh, idiot, I should have explained it this way.
No.
Man, it happens.
Exactly what happened last night.
It happens. Like, don't beat yourself up over it. It's all love. And like I told you, I'm really convinced Tripley is all love. I am. By listening to him,
too,
I think he's all love, dude. I think people misinterpret.
I hardly watch. Yeah, I hardly watch him. I'd listen to him,
right,
but I hardly ever watch him. And I got to see him and Johnny Woodard and XG and all three of those guys sitting there, and I'm looking at them and I can see their eyes, and they look like three of the just sweetest guys ever to live, man. They just look like nice guys.
Yep, that's where I'm at with it. I don't watch them at all. I just listen, and I'm big on people's words and their tones and their expressions, and it's always been a pet peeve of mine. That's how I learn people. And I don't know, like, people will complain about Tripley about how he's so loud, and I'm like, dude, that's his passion.
Yeah, I love it.
That's how you tell he's passionate. Like, he freaks out about it because he's excited, or he's really passionate about a topic. Like, that's awesome. That's cool to see. There's not a lot.
I loved it. Like, he was going off the rails last night. He went and started talking about the Muppets, and I was laughing myself because I was like, "This is classic Sam Tripoli."
Exactly.
We're nowhere near the topic, and I love that. I want that.
Yep. It's like Tripoli says, embrace the chaos. Just
man.
Just let it ride, man. You can't control it. Just go with it. Now, do you actively go out into the field looking for things, or are you more of like kind of like an interviewer / researcher? Or are you trying to do everything?
Well, on that note, I used to.
Used to?
I got into the whole ghost hunting thing until 2010. I stopped it cold because I had a bad experience. But I haven't done anything like that since, really. I'll go out, and if I'm on a hike or whatever, I'll keep my ears open. You know, of course, I want to see something.
Right.
I don't go solely for the reason of looking for Sasquatch or anything like that. But I've been invited to a couple of places I think I want to check out.
Really?
Yeah, I had a guy that I talked to the other day. Just so happens his books are still sitting here in front of me, actually on my dirty desk. His name's Kevin Paul, and he lives in Greene County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And I believe that place might have a portal, man, because it's so
really
wild. It's got everything from like Mothman-like creatures to like lizard people and everything in between. Yeah, it's crazy up there. And they're having a conference in March, and he invited me to come up as a vendor. So I might go up there and just, take a day and check out wherever he wants to point me, just see what's up. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'd like to get in the field a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause I know some people like to stay away from it, and I don't blame anybody to that aspect. And then, with grown ass people such as ourselves, we've got jobs, we have families, we have wives, it's hard to balance everything, and then you want to keep your episodes coming out for your listeners, but at the same time, you're like, I kind of want to go here. And then you got to choose. You're like, do I do an episode or do I go out in the field and hunt for stuff? Like, what do I do? It's just a big juggling thing, and
because, in reality, weekends, we go to Sam's Club. we go to, we pay the bills. We go to Sam's and go see the in-laws. And that's pretty much my weekend.
Right. Yeah. I feel you. Like I
talk about weird stuff, but I haven't had a chance. Yeah. I haven't had a chance to go out and actually see anything weird in a long time.
Right. And that's kind of where we're at. We're trying to get back out. We're trying to get into the field, but you got to buy cameras and yada, yada, yada. And we plan on it. It's just a process, as everything is, and now you said you had a bad experience. Was that just with people involved, or was that like paranormally?
It was a mixture between something paranormal and probably too much alcohol, to be honest with you.
All right. Fair enough.
I was a heavy drinker when I first got out of the Air Force, man. And my buddy invited me up to his house in Michigan for New Year's about like 6 weeks after I got out. We were both hardcore drinkers.
Yeah.
And he said his house was haunted and he had this stuff going on. And I still had that little group together that when we went and did ghost hunting. So I went up there with my equipment. I had a little recorder for EVPs. I had a thermometer that would read air temperatures and stuff. And I went to his place where he was staying and picking up weird stuff, like we go down into his basement, and wherever I was standing, the air temperature would drop, 4 or 5 degrees as opposed to the other side of the room. And if I walked over there, the temperature would drop around me. And, that kind of stuff happened for about 30 minutes until I got stupid enough to say, if you need more energy to manifest yourself or to show yourself, use me.
Oh boy.
Because I was drunk.
Right.
And I think it did, man.
Yeah.
The temperature dropped a lot, 12, 13 degrees around me.
Oh, wow.
My buddy, he was a skeptic. He's a little bit of he's my best friend in the world, but he's an asshole. You know what I mean? He's like, let's go back upstairs. This is over with. This is boring. So we get up there and we're sitting in the living room and the walls just start closing in on me. I start panicking, and I told him I'm going to go lay down. And I don't know if I passed out or fell asleep, but I woke up in the morning and I had to actually go to the clinic. My blood pressure was like 190 over 120.
Whoa.
Yeah. And shaky. And I've had panic attacks for about, I don't know, the whole time since then.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I've gotten a big handle on it now, but
yeah.
Yeah, man. It for a good 10 years that wrecked me. It
That's
did.
crazy.
And I don't know if it's directly tied to that or if it was just, a shit storm of stuff that was going on in my life anyway. And it just kind of peaked
Yeah.
at that moment. It
Well,
was like a perfect storm.
and then, you talk about that angle, but on our research and talking to people, like when you are in those, I'll just say darker stages of your life, it does make it, as from what I understand, it makes it easier for things to manifest around you and draw from you
Yep.
and cling to you and just basically use you as a freaking AA battery.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And
Yep.
it's almost like you turn into like a stink bait for them where they're like, "Ooh, look, Bo's not in a good spot. Let's just go bother him." And then
That's exactly it. When you're in a low vibration, you're at a low frequency, it attracts all the negative, and it does. That's why these forces like to keep you oppressed with addictions and depression and anxiety. As long as you got that fear going, and you can see it. I don't know how political you get, but you can see it with, media trying to keep you afraid.
Oh yeah,
trying to keep you controlled. It all feeds. We're feeding some kind of beast by living in fear,
dude, 100%. That's why, like, there was some episodes a while back where I'm like, you know what? Anybody who listens to me, if you're willing to do it, try to shut social media off for a week or two, and then come back and tell me how you feel.
Mm-hmm.
And there were a couple of people that took me up on it, and they're like, you know what? I actually legitimately feel better that I'm not engaging in the news, the social media, all this chaos, the everyday chaos. When I retract myself and just live my life, like I'm feeling better, and that's one of the reasons why I canceled like basically all TV. All we have now is like Netflix and shit for the kids and watching movies. I don't do news. I don't do Facebook. Facebook is just, for me, it's just poison. It's dude, it's 90% of it's negativity. Yeah. I don't want that in my life. Like, that's why I like Instagram, because Instagram is full of cool pictures that I like. And if you come on there and you spout some bullshit that I don't like, I just go bye, delete you from my feed, go away. If you're not posting cool shit or inspirational stuff, I don't want you. It doesn't matter who you are. I don't need the negativity, man. I've already got enough chaos in my life. I don't need you adding to it.
Amen.
And
I use Facebook. I use it for a handful of buddies that are still 1,000 miles away, and for my podcast. I like to share stuff on there.
That's
it's free. It's free advertising.
Yes, it is a necessary beast, in that regard. And I totally get it for the people that use it to keep in touch. It's just whenever you feel obligated to be a keyboard warrior and just spread hate, it's just like, man, just let's learn. People need to learn to let stuff go. Yeah. Like, just, you know what? Like, if I saw you made a crap, I in my own head, I'd be like, man, Bo is on some shit today. And then I would just go about my day. I don't feel it necessary to be like, oh, Bo thinks this. Well, here I go. Why even waste the energy on it?
Just scroll on, man.
Dude, it's just that simple. Like we were talking about earlier about how being happy for somebody makes you feel good. And it's important to smile. It's important to hug each other. It's important to be happy. Like, I can't express that enough, because like you were saying, like, as crazy as it sounds, the negativity draws in more negativity, and it could draw in things that you don't want in your life.
Yeah. Man. That's why they say fake it till you make it. You can't let that negative in. If you go out there and lie about it, you got to go out there and act like you're happy. You better act like you're happy.
And it's hard. I'll admit I have my days. I fall down, but I don't know, dude. I don't know. What's been one of your favorite interviews that you've done, that you've had somebody come on and talk to you about?
My favorites. Well, I'm a little partial. I'm a little partial to Bigfoot.
Okay. I kind of figured that.
Yeah. But that's a lot of that is my audience. My audience loves Bigfoot stuff because I got on Sasquatch Chronicles, and doing that, I had 1,000 people come listen to my show and stay. So
that's awesome.
I've had almost half my people, half my episodes have revolved around Bigfoot. But some of my favorite interviews, I had a guy talk about a blue lady in his apartment. That one stands out to me. It was a full body apparition that he walked through one day. He had seen her a couple of times, but he had forgotten something in the house. Like his wife forgot the keys or something, and he runs back in about the time that apparition was showing up to come down the stairs, and he runs straight through her.
Wow.
That was a good one. Because I believe he's 100% legit.
Yeah, right.
I've had a couple of people on. I'll let everybody just tell their story. I don't care if they're telling me the truth. I don't care if they're just, a creative writing class or whatever it is. I'll take their word for it. I'm not going to call anybody a liar.
Right.
But you can tell when some just seem genuine.
Yes. Very much so.
I brought up an episode last night about the guy that had a demonic encounter in his bedroom. His wife was having night terrors. He rolls over to check on her, and he sees this black mass on her. And again, he rebuked it. And when he used the name of Jesus Christ, it goes across the room, and this face manifests in it with this big wicked smile, and it slides up the wall and into the ceiling and disappears.
Wow.
I believe him.
Dude, that gives me goosebumps. I have sitting here picturing like if I was in his shoes and it's happening to my wife.
Yeah, how scary would it be for your wife?
I think the scariest part though would not only because it was scary when you were like, oh, a black mass was over top of her, but when you said it goes away and then this big giant smile forms, I would have shit myself. I would have been like, whatever is in here is pure evil. Just because that one little thing, like a black mass is a black mass. Like it's going to be scary, but I can get through that. When that thing starts making facial features and stuff, and it looks demonic, okay, now we've crossed into a whole new area.
Yeah, and it goes on to get even worse if you can believe that. But it's a good episode.
Jeez. Was there anything that provoked that? Like anything that he was doing in his life? Yeah.
He was a good, godly man, but he had a neighbor that hated him that got into some hardcore witchcraft.
Oh,
he thinks that she did that after him.
Dude.
Yep.
If he's
himself chills that time.
Oh man. Yeah. If he's telling the 100% truth that he was a good, godly man and basically he did right, that seems like the most logical explanation that if she was truly dabbling in the dark arts, that she did, especially if that person hated him.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's you know what? Now that you bring that up, that is something I have asked about. I asked recently about witches and wanting to talk to witches about that because not that I'm going to dabble in it or any of that nature, but to help me understand about like when a person, I was talking to my buddy about today at work. I was like, so like with say a curse, say I want to put a curse on somebody and is it a specific thing? Like, oh, I want Bo to break his leg, or is it more of like a karma style thing where it's just like, I want something bad to happen to Bo. And for the record, I do not want anything bad to happen to you. Just an example. You know what? But I don't know if there's like specifics or if it's more of like a general, like a buckshot or, just like, I just want something bad to happen to this person.
Yeah. I think it's both. Okay. And I think you can get very specific. And like you mentioned earlier, it's a lot about intention.
Okay.
It's your intent.
Yeah, that's fair.
You focus that intent on whatever malady you want this person to have, and watch it happen.
Isn't that terrifying?
It is. It is terrifying.
Like, and once again, as a grown ass man, I feel foolish when I say I believe in magic, but I 100% believe in magic.
Oh, I do too. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind.
There's
no doubt in my mind.
Doesn't it just feel weird saying that as a grown ass man? Like, I believe in magic. Like, and I'm not, obviously we're not talking about card tricks and shit. We're talking about like, not only negative side of things too. I do believe there are people out there that do really good things with said magic or whatever the forces they're using. Which now that we're on the subject, as a religious man, would you choose to stay away from both sides of it, the good and bad side of it, as a religious man? Because isn't it kind of like in the Bible, like, don't dabble in any of it?
Well, it says, don't practice necromancy.
Okay.
Because like black magic.
Yeah, you'd have to educate me because I've never read the Bible. I just know bits and pieces. I was raised Catholic, but I don't really buy into it.
Same. So. I was raised Catholic, and I went my own way after I got into my 20s.
Right? Same.
But yeah, it says in there, don't practice necromancy, fortune tellers, palm readers, all this kind of stuff. But I have visited palm readers, and I've got my mind blown. So I know it's real. And I also, as a Christian, I don't think that they would put it in the Bible if it wasn't real.
Oh, so touche.
Like for me, it's confirmation that stuff exists.
Right.
But there's like you're talking about the good side of things. I've also seen different remedies or spells or whatever you want to call it. It's almost like prayers. I think spells and prayers kind of go hand in hand.
Dude, that's a good point.
I've had people say that I wouldn't know a true Christian if I passed one in a church for saying this kind of stuff. But it's, again, a prayer is a certain set of words with a certain intention for a certain purpose.
Dude, that's genius.
And what's a spell? Is it not the same thing?
No, it's right. Like, I've never thought about it on that level before. And the way you word that, I mean, it makes 100% sense. Yeah. I mean, there's no getting around it.
Yeah. There's power in words and
intent.
Be careful what we say. Yeah. And intent.
And that's kind of crazy.
There's remedies that you can use scripture. You can quote certain parts of the Bible in a certain manner, and it will stop bleeding. It'll cure burns. It works, and is that a spell?
Yes, it's magic.
Yeah, is that not like magic?
It totally is. Like, now that like I said, I've never read the Bible. I don't really plan on it. I believe that there is a higher power. Do I believe it's a white man in a robe with what we've been sold? Not necessarily. Now, my personal feelings, I believe it's more important that you believe. Doesn't matter what image you put behind it. What matters most is that you believe in something greater than you. Yes. Right? That's my opinion.
Yeah.
It's my personal opinion. And don't get me wrong. I've asked for help. I've asked for guidance. Actually, kind of emotional, but when I come across hard times, it may sound stupid to a lot of people. I don't ask God for help. I ask a brother of mine that passed away. I'm like, yo, dude, I need help. Like, I need you here for me. Show me the way, or give me the strength to do this. Look over me, look over my family. Because I'm a very family oriented person, right? Like, it's why I admire it's the way that I am. And I know that my family, who I hold dear, and my family isn't just blood. It's my friends are family. Like, that's just who I am. And I know that the friends that I have with me are the ones that would follow me to the gates of hell without hesitation. And that's important to me. That's probably the most important thing, is that the people who are with me are always going to be with me. They're my ride and die, Yeah. So when I need help, the people who have fallen before me, those are the ones that I turn to spiritually to help me get through whatever I'm going through, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. I love that. Yeah. But nobody can say anything bad about that. Man.
Yeah. And then I appreciate that, because I know that like when you get into that religious world, there's a lot of gray areas and there's a lot of people that are black and white. Like it's this way. No, it's this way.
Yeah. I got slapped across the face with that today, as a matter of fact.
Really?
I chose to take the high road. Yeah. I extended an offer. I asked somebody that I still respect, if they'd like to come on my show. They had written a book that I read last year, and they messaged me. They said, "Hey, thanks for the shout out," because I posted that I had read their book. And I was like, "Yeah, no problem. I really enjoyed it, and I would love to have you on my show to talk about this experience, blah, blah, blah." And they said, hold on a second. Let me pull this up. Let me read this. It kind of ground my gears a little bit, man.
Okay.
I won't give his name, but it said, "Thanks for the invite, but it doesn't appear that your content and focus align with the message and intent of sharing his story. God bless." And I was like,
"Oh, okay. I see. He's coming from like the ultra side of things."
Yeah,
like religious side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
See, I kind of thought you were going to go the other way around, and no, you're going to where you're basically not religious enough, or your views and opinions don't fall in line with how it should fall in line, right?
Yes, that's exactly what he was saying, and I said I respect that, and I countered not to argue. I just told him, basically, who better to talk to, than people that you could lead toward faith instead of people that already believe. If I could sit there and talk to 100 people that believe in Bigfoot, and what am I going to convince them of? That Bigfoot's real? They already believe that.
Right.
Or I could talk to people that are kind of on the fence or whatever, and try to pull them on in there too.
Yeah.
I use Bigfoot as an example, but if it's Jesus, if there's 100 people that are already Christians going to church, they already know.
Yeah, for sure.
If I'm talking to people about ghosts and I say, "Hey, it says in the Bible, don't be afraid, I'm not a ghost." If Jesus Christ says that, then ghosts are real, right? And they're like, "Oh, I never thought about it that way." And we're having a conversation about God and ghosts, and I don't see how that could be bad.
Dude, it's just like what you did to me earlier with the magic thing. You the prayer and the dude. I never thought of it like that because I'm not hyper. I don't actively do the religious thing, as much as, and it bugs me sometimes. I don't give a shit about your faith. Whatever you want to do is what you want to do. I respect it 100%. Right. But does it mean because you believe in Jesus that you can't think outside the box? No.
Exactly.
And not like I don't know. Like, to me, that's just dumb. I understand that people do fall into that category, and that's fine. I don't, I'm not hating at all, but man, people need to stop living in boxes.
Yep. That's it. And people have their this preset parameters of what they're allowing themselves to believe in. And in that Christian world, it's so washed out, because if you truly believe in this Christianity, then you believe in raising the dead, walking on water, all these crazy miracles, right?
Yeah, and that's a great point.
That they just keep themselves so tame when this whole world is so supernatural. It's a crazy ass place we live in, man.
I agree 100%, dude.
There's no room for a box.
I 100% agree. Like you said, the more we go down these holes, the more lost you are. Like, you're just like, oh wow, like I don't even know what to think now. Yep. Like, and it's cool having a religious friend, because you use that not as a crutch, but as like a source of information, like a guide, a reference point, where you're like, okay, well, maybe it aligns with this, or maybe I can, in the Bible, it references this. So what if you spin that, and then it just allows you to process and keep moving forward with these new thoughts and these new ideas. And I don't find it as a crutch to look at it anything from a religious standpoint.
Right. Yeah. And
vice versa.
And I'm not going to try to say everything has to align with the Bible. It's just when it does, I'm like, that's even cooler. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no goblins in the Bible, but I believe they're in Kentucky.
There you go. There you go.
So,
and I think it's just important that, and I think that's one thing that the powers that be actively act against is open-mindedness. I think they want everybody to go, here's the road, follow the road. Yeah. Don't look over there. You look straight and keep doing what you're doing. Okay. Yeah. I think that's a huge part of what's going on. I really do.
Yeah, there's no room for critical thinkers.
No. And you know, it's funny. You're a teacher. You're probably a little bit older than me, but I find it ironic. You know, I was born in 86. All growing up, it was always, Kyle, you can be whatever you want to be. You know, you know, anything, you can be whatever you want to be. And now we don't teach our children that. We put boxes around them all. And it's terrifying. Yeah. It's absolutely terrifying. Because I can remember being in third grade and they're like, Kyle, who do you want to be when you grow up? And I drew a picture of Michael Jordan. I'm like, that's the dude I want to be when I grow up. Like, that guy was my idol growing up. You know, I love basketball, and I've always, like, I will defend that man to the day I die.
Right.
You know, but that's important. It's important to allow kids to be creative, allow people to be creative, and to use your mind. And like you said, critically think outside the box, have fun with life, not all this just drone mentality shit.
I've only been teaching for a couple of years now.
Okay.
The stars kind of aligned for me in this job because I did manual labor all my life. I come out of the Air Force. I worked in, you know, the lumber department of big box stores. Then I worked underground in the coal mines for a couple of years. That's all I've known. I worked in the state park, you know, clearing trails and cutting trees and taking care of black bears and stuff for years. And then I got this job. It was kind of awesome. But the prerequisite for it was to be a veteran and to have a degree. And there is a program at these schools that replaces ROTC with a program that teaches and focuses mostly on life skills. And I thought, I love that.
That's kind of cool.
So it's I don't know if I should talk about that. I'll say it's called a Future Leaders Program is the name of it. And we take kids of all walks of life, you know, the privileged kids, the athletic kids, the poor kids, the, you know, juvenile delinquents. We take them all. We shove them in the same classroom together. And I talk to them about life skills, you know, how to cope with setbacks, resiliency.
That's awesome.
Yeah, what to do when your parents are addicted to drugs, how to get through a day-to-day life, you know, when your friend commits suicide, because it's the stuff these kids are facing. And it's kind of like being a counselor, but we also have a little bit of a military aspect because we got to teach them discipline. So I take them outside and I teach them how to march, how to work as a team, you know, how to do different drills, how to, you know, organized sports kind of stuff, and how to do job interviews, how to pay your bills. It's just everything that mommy and daddy should have done and did do for us.
Right.
They're not getting.
Right.
You know?
Dude, that's important. That's awesome. That is awesome.
I love my job, man.
That's awesome. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
It's it's a rarity to find people that love their jobs.
Well, it's a rare thing to find a good job.
That's true. Valid point.
I miss working outside. I miss working with my hands. I miss, you know, being in nature. But if I had to do something else, it would be this. You know, I love it.
That's awesome, man. That's fucking cool. Like even, I mean, you're actively helping people in their life. You know, you're making a difference, and that's important.
Yeah. You get that. You get a little bit of. There's a little bit of reward that comes from it. You know.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it's, you know, kiss my ass. You didn't see me vaping in the hallway like you think you did.
Yeah, but you know what? later on in life, those people learn those lessons. You know what I'm saying? Like young adults, we were there, dude. We were there.
Oh yeah, I know.
But you look back and you're like, you know what? That teacher, he did me a solid, man. Like he helped me out big time.
Yeah.
And I wish I could thank him, but it is what it is. But it does. It makes a difference, dude. It makes a difference. It totally does. Not in everybody, but I think in a lot of people, it does make a difference.
Yeah. And they love the fact that I podcast, man.
That's cool.
They eat it up.
That's
I got
cool.
a handful of them that listen to my show, but they just like to tease me about Bigfoot or I love it. I like that they have a little bit of ammunition because it's not fair to them anyway.
Right.
I'm vastly smarter than that.
It's cool, dude. That's awesome. That's so fucking cool. That is so cool. So, do you got any big plans for the future coming up?
I plan to with my show. I plan to try to get a little bit more into. And I hesitate to do this because I've witnessed somebody else struggle with it, but I might bring on a little bit of conspiratorial stuff since I do get into it, and I have a good time with it. I don't want to go as far as what happened with Tony, because I know when Tony started doing conspiracy stuff, he warned people right off the bat that he liked it, but it kind of split his show in a bad way for a few months there. But, I've had people come on about flat earth and stuff like that. And it's a lot of fun. It's controversial, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with those debates. Yeah. Honestly, there's one that me and Steve avoid. There's one right now.
Oh, yeah. There is?
And you could take a wild guess at which one that one is.
Well, let me hear it.
It's all the COVID talk. That's the one we avoid, dude, because it's the hottest. Yeah. It's nuclear. Like, it's just straight up nuke.
Yeah, I know. That could kill my show tomorrow if I talk about it on my show.
It can. It really can. Yeah. And we just leave it alone. Everybody has their own opinion on it, and that's that.
Yeah. Either way, you're going to lose half your people.
There you go. And we just avoid it. It's just, and it's at this point, dude, it's not even fun to talk about.
It's not.
It's not. It's just stressful. It makes people mad, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to have fun and talk about weird shit.
Yes, the whole point. The whole point of it is to be that escape for people, right?
There you go. That's it.
So they can not worry about that shit and just listen to us, BS with each other, have fun, think about things that may matter in day-to-day life, might not matter at all in day-to-day life. It's just an escape. And if we start flooding that with mainstream news, then what are we doing, man?
Exactly. And it just, I don't know. All I'll ever say is that anyone with .gov, I usually don't trust you. Like, it is what it is, man.
There you go.
And I've always been that. I for one, I love conspiracies, because I like chess. And so I think of it as conspiracies on a chessboard, right? And there's all these moving parts and all these things, and the opponent, they're thinking 4 steps ahead. And I go into it knowing I'm not even playing the same game they are, right? I say that we'll just say the shadow government or whoever's running the world, the country, they are playing on at least a cubed chessboard. They see all the boards and all the pieces.
Right.
We might see half of one board. Right. But it's cool. For me, it's like, it's kind of fun trying to put the puzzle pieces together. It's just, it's just one of them things that I like, and a lot of conspiracies nuke, dude. It's just like pushing the big red button, and it pisses a lot of people off, but not all of them. Cause we've delved into some conspiracies, and talked about them. And in my opinion, they're important to know. Right. Cause you had, I cannot remember the project name, but they were going to basically fake invade Cuba and cause all this. Yeah. They were just going to cause a reason for us to go into play. Like no matter which way you look at it, that's a conspiracy, bro. Like, that's people doing shady shit.
Yeah.
And it's important for especially guys like you and me who are under the reign of the United States government to know those things, in my opinion.
We should be well aware of how evil our government really is.
There you go, man. And you know what? Yes. You know what? I blame that on people, because once people get to powerful positions, when people think and basically know they're untouchable, what will they not do?
Right.
They'll do whatever they want to do. Yeah. Because and then for some reason the people in power think that they need to be our mom and dads. So they know what's best for us, quote unquote. You know what I mean? And so they're going to do what they feel like is the best thing, and it's probably backed by money, is what it all comes down to. Just overall
always special interest. Yeah.
Right. You know, and it's just, I don't know. It's all just, it'll piss you off. It'll blow your mind. Go listen to Alex Jones.
Exactly.
I love Alex Jones, and I'll forever love him.
I do too. And I just said that just the other day. It's like, well, you know, you can call him crazy, but tell me when one time he's been wrong. And, you know,
he's been right a lot.
Yeah.
He's been right a lot, dude.
Yeah.
He's a character, you know. It's almost like watching a WWE wrestler.
That makes it more fun, man.
That's what I feel about it, you know.
I just entertainment.
That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, dude. That is where I'm at. I love it. I love it all. I love talking to you, man. We need to do this again as well. We're gonna have to set up something else. I'd like to do it whenever Steve's feeling better and we can all get together and chop it up, because Steve looks at things way differently than I do. And so it's fun bouncing ideas off you. You know, this is what it's about.
I've loved this.
Dude, it's been a blast. Yeah. We've been on here for like an hour and a half already.
I know that. And I know we didn't really know each other, but now I feel like, you know, you're a buddy. You know,
that's what I have. And then I'm telling you right now, almost 90% of the people I talk to, we're just like this. It's so bizarre to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a people person, believe it or not. And almost every conversation that we've had to date, it's been this easy. It's so weird to me. So weird. You know, but dude, this has been fun. Like I've had fun.
I have too. I've loved every second of this.
Like I was kind of having a little bit of a rough night after work, but I get on here and I'm smiling, I'm having a good time, and I feel good, and I'm happy for you. And it's just fantastic, man. It's just awesome. And I'm like I said, I'm so excited to hear you on Tripoli. I'm excited to hear where you're going to be in the next month, you know, weeks after that. Like I'm a fan, I'm a follower, dude. And I'm glad that we made this connection. I'm glad that we had this conversation, and hopefully we get to keep helping each other along down the road.
Absolutely. You know? If there's anything I can do to help you out, if
I appreciate that.
You know, a question about anything or whatever, just holler at me.
Dude, I appreciate that, because like I said, you look at things differently than I look at things. Yeah. Like you've kind of rocked my brain a couple of times tonight, where you know, and that's what I love. I love seeing new angles to things, because I pride myself on being able to step back and look at a lot of different angles. But I never equated magic and prayer, and it's just like, whoa, dude, my mind's just kind of melted a little bit. You know?
Yeah, a lot of people won't like to think that way though, man. So be careful.
They won't. No, and that's fine. That's fine. I don't hate on your views and thoughts at all. Because it's, dude, anything's fair game. Like as far as this belief system goes and looking into the paranormal, like I've said it a million times, we are kind of like modern day explorers. Yeah, you know, and inventors. And because like it's a piss pass suggestion, but how many people, when they were trying to invent the light bulb, when you had Kyle going around going, Bo, I'm going to make something that you're going to be able to turn on and off, and it's going to light your room, and then you're going to be able to shut it off. I'm going to call it the light bulb. I guarantee there's people around him that go, you're fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You're crazy.
You're going to harness electricity. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And then guess what they did? They did it. And that's kind of how I view the paranormal, is that anything's possible, and there's no harm in looking for it and trying to find it. Because so what? At the end of the day, they go, hey, Bo, Bigfoot's not real. We proved it. And you're like, damn. You know, I thought it was. I thought it was. You know, I might still think it is. Maybe you missed something that I need to go find.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of how I view it all,
I do too, man. One of my favorite things is reality is subjective. It's going to be different for everybody.
Absolutely.
All it takes is one difference of opinion, and we live in two different realities.
Absolutely, 100%.
Our worldview is different. So,
and that's why I love talking to guys like you who are like me and Steve. We think alike, but we're going for the same goal, but we're all on different paths, and we're communicating with each other ideas, and it just, I think it helps evolve our way of thinking. You know what I mean? And
I do too. Yeah.
I don't know. There's something really important about making connections in this world and being open to suggestion and ideas and letting it, instead of hinder you, just enhance the way you view the world and even just life itself, just simple everyday things. I don't know, man. This has been fun.
It has
a lot of fun, bro.
I appreciate you letting me into your world, man.
Absolutely. Anytime, dude. Anytime you want to talk or you need help, you're looking into shit, give me a call, a holler. We'll figure shit out.
Will do, man.
All right, brother. All right, I'm gonna hop off here and hit the sack.
All right, man. Good night.
Hey, you too, buddy. Get to feeling better.
I'll try.
All right, brother. We'll talk at you later.
All right, bro.
Bye.
Later.